The Crye Precision SPC is outstanding. It's lightweight, minimalistic, and the best load-bearing plate carrier. It's basically the best features of Crye's top distributed carriers combined into one. It's the size of a JPC, but has an improved harness system similar to the AVS or CPC. It doesn't press against your chest like the tight-fitting JPC and isn't as bulky as a full CPC setup or lug on your shoulders like an AVS. The conjunction with both the SPC plate bags and the structural cummerbund basically act as a two-piece harness. The carrier is not like the AVS or CPC where they are just plate bags with a separate harness attached. The difference with the Crye Precision SPC is that the plate bags and cummerbund form the harness. When I initially tested the carrier, I forgot I was wearing it. It's that lightweight and doesn't hug against your body like mostly all carriers currently in the market. The overall weight distribution of both armor and gear is leveled out through the Airlite structural cummerbund system. Testimonies from the dudes I work with or guys who tried the carrier out stated that the carrier didn't feel heavy, especially when it was loaded up with plates, comms, hydro, and mags, and that overall load-bearing properties is what sets this carrier out against all others on the market. Now to compare this to Crye's other carriers, most notably the JPC. Firstly, you can't properly compare the load-bearing capabilities of the Crye Precision SPC against the JPC, as they're entirely different systems. The only comparable parts are the SPC plate bags and how it features designs that originated on the JPC, plus the fact that it looks exactly like one. Other than that, the function of the SPC is an enhanced version of the AVS or CPC harness. For example, the Crye SPC is better at distributing weight, especially when you're running side armor plus a back panel versus on a JPC. And again, that's largely due to the Crye SPC's structural cummerbund. It's rigid and has a carbon fiber or Kydex-like material in between the PALS rows, unlike the other Crye carriers. The SPC still follows Crye's standard of using elastic cord to attach the cummerbund to the rear plate bag. They went for a 3/16 elastic bungee cord instead of the 1/4, and that actually allows for more pull in the cummerbund, which is fantastic, and I added that onto my JPC. A quick little Mythic tactical tip right there. But I've had 3 issues with the carrier, and it's because of the cummerbund. The first is that myself and everyone I know who owns this, the medium cummerbund is way too long. It's like a large/extra large. If you're athletically built and under 6 feet, I suggest going for the small, as it's basically a medium to large cummerbund. And you'll notice how long the cummerbund is, largely because in the manual the attachment system is straightforward, but we all had to pretty much overlay the cummerbund since it was way too long. Don't listen to the Crye manual. It's as reputable as a hot chick with a bulge. The second issue is that since the carrier is using 3/16 elastic shock, it's just tedious to thread through the cummerbund because again, it's rigid. And lastly, the rear plate bag had loop area that was incorrectly stitched too close. Just a defunct on my carrier, but this is massively vital because since it's 2-band or 2 rows of molly, you can mount the cummerbund as low as possible so the rear plate bag rides higher up, and that's why it's so important. This was an issue on all the other Crye carriers since when you correctly wear your front plate bag, your rear would ride lower because of the positioning with the carrier resting on your shoulders. Adding the rear plate bag loops for the 2-band cummerbund allows for the front plate bag to still be correctly worn, but also have the rear ride correctly on your back. And even though attaching the cummerbund was a massive hardship, it was well worth it since the design creates structure to the plate carrier, which is the overall intent for using the Crye SPC. And for what plates fit the carrier, the bags are sized according to your plate size and not your body type. Advanced shooter's cut or swimmer's versions can fit a standard size below though. For example, a medium ESAPI can fit in a large swimmer's SPC. Other similarities to existing Crye products is that the SPC cummerbund routes almost similar to the AVS/CPC harness, where it has a slotted section to slide into. The SPC, however, has a slick foam-like guide that goes into the plate bag itself and is secured by Velcro. And the design is more practical as it's a specific interface to route into, rather than trying to correctly position the cummerbund Velcro on the front of your carrier. And just like the JPC 2.0 Cummerbund, the SPC features pull tabs for quick removal, but the main difference is that instead of using webbing like the formerly mentioned carrier, the SPC has thinner pull tabs with a slider that allows for leeway on how much the individual needs to grab, plus it allows for the new Airlite detachable MOLLE flap to compress and be more slim when it lays over the front of the plate bag. The Airlite detachable MOLLE flap also is amazing. It weighs pretty much like nothing and doesn't attach like how the standard Crye panels did with PALs. This flap just uses roughly 2 to 3 inch long Velcro straps, but still has a button enclosure. My main issue is the lack of the integrated triple mag front, but it's a sacrifice to have a really thin and lightweight front flap that's both rigid and secure. The construction of the flap is produced with the new Crye in-house fabric that's laser cut material, and again, literally weighs like nothing. The plate bags are produced with the same material throughout the front and rear. It's just straight up one piece that connects even up to the shoulder straps, which kind of makes sense in terms of a load-bearing design. Standard carriers can have high stress points due to the shoulder straps being separate pieces attached to the plate bags, and it's mostly noticeable when you're using the DuPont Hypalon shoulders on the JPCs, as they fray easily from use. Having the shoulder strap integrated into the plate bags themselves alleviates most of the stress that would be done on shoulder straps that are individually attached. And because of the carrier being a part of Crye's Airlite line, it's oriented towards weight saving and a minimal profile, hence the laser cut material. The fabric is almost like a hydroscopic polymer similar to Magpul's DACA line, and overall none of us really like the material as it's entirely synthetic and almost feels like there's no form of actual fiber in the carrier, so the exterior of the plate bag isn't as comfy. However, the perforated space mesh on the interior of the plate bag is fantastic. It's pretty much the mesh on the interior of the JPC 1.0 and 2.0. And the Crye SPC still features elastic or Spandurio material to allow for give when you insert plates in soft armor. Still, the mesh can leave an imprint on your body after long-term use, and weirdly there's no plate bag covers, so they're all exposed to the environment. This isn't an issue for guys on the spectrum using steel armor or if you're an airsofter, but for us high IQ chads that run ceramics, you're more than likely going to get your plates dirty, unless you purchase a cover from like SNS Precision or, God forbid, TMC. And that's a massive negative, plus the fact of when I used a PTT, it would somewhat dig into the plates as there wasn't a prime attachment point to add the PTT onto, and there wasn't something to cover the plate from the clip from the PTT, which it was kind of like stabbing the plate. There also was no drag handle, and I feel like one produced with this new Crye fabric might have been more durable and actually worked compared to the webbing one on the JPC 2.0. I thought there was going to be an Airlite admin pouch with the new Crye line, but just like Tiananmen Square, nothing happened. There's no integrated admin, which is a tad annoying if you keep pens, additional medic supplies, or nav gear, and since the admin area of the plate bag has limited spacing above the front flap, you can't use that many aftermarket admin pouches other than the Crye admin maritime pouch, so it's basically proprietary. And it's kind of important to me since I keep epinephrine in mine in case of cardiac arrest or if someone throws peanut butter at my face. There's integrated vertical loops for QASM clips so you can attach any chest rig or panel platform to hold your mags, and also an integrated EDOF kit to quickly remove the carrier in an emergency. The EDOF kit and shoulder pads are pretty much the same as the Crye JPC 2.0, except the material for the shoulder pad covers on the SPC feels lighter and more stretchy. On the rear, there's zippers so you could still attach Crye's back panels, plus it's somewhat easier to attach gear on the back of the SPC rather than the JPC, as that carrier had spacing issues for routing the PAL's webbing because of the skeletonized cummerbund. You still have these small loops to attach side ESAPI pouches for some reason, and these don't look as durable and probably can't take high stress, so use them solely for webbing straps if you don't want to use the structural cummerbund. If that doesn't make any sense, I don't know why you do that. Also, I tried the Airlite Configurable radio pouch and it's pretty cool, mainly because it was recommended to me by EOD Fish. He has an awesome overview of the pouch on his channel. I'll link it below. This pouch is proprietary to the carrier and has a slot for the cummerbund to route through. Keep that in mind unless you want to cut holes in your current radio pouches. Quick overview on the pouch is that it's adjustable and it's pretty much as light as the front flap. Only issue is that if you're using civilian comms, this pouch is oriented to 152s and larger comm devices. And this pouch doesn't feature hook velcro to attach to the interior of the cummerbund, unlike the former embedder design. Lastly, the SPC comes with really cool tags showcasing descriptions of the Airlite series and displaying the multicam pattern and its effectiveness. Overall, the main issue with the carrier is just spacing, and this matters if you're going to fully load up for your job, so comms, armor, mags, whatever. But because of the load-bearing capability of the Crye Precision SPC, it's worth the loss of the overall spacing because this carrier has structure. And as of this upload, there's a massive lead time, so if you aren't LE or military, you better pick this up before those airsoft milsim impressionists do. And I took so long to release this vid that the carrier is available now in all solid colors and multicam from thick Caleb Crye. Anyways, feel free to comment down below on how your plate carrier hugs you tighter than your non-existent girlfriend. Thanks, and I love you all. Peace.